All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. All my life.
Welcome to Darren and Sterling here on ESPN, Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, and Facebook Live. I am Sterling Holmes live in studio on a extremely windy, incredibly windy Wednesday afternoon, while Darren is out there in sunny LA. Darren, how you doing, my man?
How does it look like I'm doing? I'm doing fine. I'm in front of SoFi, which is so fine right now. So, of course, I'm out here, right out here in Los Angeles, and actually it's part of Inglewood, California. But here, of course, covering the Chiefs-Chargers game that takes place tomorrow night. So I'll be here live in attendance, and thought I'd do the show from here today. I landed early this morning, so I figured I'd come out here and get a scope of the layout, scope of the land, and report back.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I thought you were going to be there later because you're going to take some of those vouchers, but Delta vouchers.
They didn't have.
Just keep racking them up.
That's
what I was expecting from you.
It was literally a full plane, but they didn't have any. I mean, they didn't have any opportunities for me to take advantage of it. Trust me, I asked as soon as the lady got there. I was like, "Need any volunteers?" Like, no, it's a full flight, but we don't have any overages. I was like, doggone it. So yeah, I was ready for them for those gift cards, but didn't come through today. Maybe on the way back, but we'll see.
So what are your initial reactions, your initial input on SoFi Stadium out there?
Well, when I look at it, Sterling, I mean, the first thing I'm thinking about is just how metallic and how big it is. It takes up a lot of land mass. You got the Forum where the Lakers used to play it back in the day, right over here to my right. The NFL Network headquarters is actually right over here to my left, which is next door to SoFi Stadium. So all this is built on the complex right here. And I mean, obviously, you got palm trees. I'm standing right here on the corner, palm trees, and great weather. They had bad weather, I think, last couple of days where they needed rain and stuff. So they got that, and today the sun came out, and I guess it knew I was going to be here because sun is out for me because I don't do bad weather on location.
Hey, sun is shining, baby. You're out in LA. You can't complain at all.
Nah, I can't.
Big news coming out for tomorrow's game, though. Chris Jones, not officially listed as out, but looking extremely doubtful. Willie Gay Jr. is listed as out. L'Jarius Sneed is listed as out. Josh Gordon is listed as out. How big of a loss is this for Kansas City?
Big loss for Kansas City, obviously. To what extent, I'm not sure. Obviously, Josh Gordon, up until last week, was more of a body, so to speak. So offensively, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal for Kansas City. So we shouldn't see any real drop in production from the Chiefs offense. Defensively is obviously where you're going to see the struggle of Willie Gay. It's funny, Willie Gay and Chris Jones, they were both close contact, and all the players were close contact to those that have tested positive thus far. So I'm actually shocked that not more have tested positive. But as it relates to how it's going to look for the defense, if Chris Jones cannot go, and at the moment you said it's doubtful, so perhaps he tested negative today and needs to test negative tomorrow for all this for him to be able to play in tomorrow night's game. You could have expected L'Jarius Sneed not to play just based off of what took place over the weekend and him not playing. So I don't think that's that much of a loss. I do think the loss of Willie Gay with his speed and his athleticism could be a factor in the ball game tomorrow night. So I'm not writing the Chiefs off by any means necessary because I have them winning the ball game tomorrow night. But I do think that defensively it would slow them down some if Willie Gay's not there and Chris Jones is. But if they're both not there, that the defense can still play well. I just don't think that it'll keep the Chargers to 9 points. So if Chris Jones isn't in, I would definitely lean towards the over in tomorrow night's ball game.
Personnel dominoes. Josh Briscoe broke it down very nice on his Twitter. No Willie Gay Jr. means the rest of the linebackers have to step up and try to handle Austin Eckler. That means a lot more, let's say, Ben Neiman. That means maybe Nick Bolton more on third downs when we all know, as much as I love Nick Bolton, I think he's a phenomenal player. His worst attribute currently as a professional linebacker is in coverage. That's difficult. No L'Jarius Sneed means more Matthew in the slot, which means we're going to see a lot of Dan Sorensen. Last week with L'Jarius Sneed out, Dan Sorensen played 90% of the snaps. So unless we're going to see Rashad Fenton back in the slot, you're going to see a lot more Dan Sorensen. And then no Chris Jones obviously removes the best part of this Chiefs revamped pass rush, which means Derek Nottie is going to have to step up. So it's not just a one-for-one type situation for Kansas City. For example, for the Chargers, no Rashawn Slater. That just means, all right, left tackle, next man up. For Kansas City, there are going to be a lot of moving pieces when it comes to trying replacing guys like Willie Gay Jr. And just obviously L'Jarius Sneed is going to be huge.
Well, again, the absence of L'Jarius Sneed, I mean, based off of what we saw from Mike Hughes on Sunday, of course, he was named Defensive Player of the Week in the AFC. I'm fine. I'm fine with his substitution in place of L'Jarius Sneed. Again, you do bring up some good points when you talk about the players that would have to be replaced. However, I trust enough in Nick Bolden with what we've seen this season that he'll be able to handle it. You got to remember, though, Austin Eckler, it is coming. Actually, he did have a foot injury or an ankle injury in last Sunday's game against the Giants. So it's not like he's going to be 100% healthy. So I think that kind of slows him down a little bit, Sterling. And so, again, I'm not ready to throw the baby over the boat and run around like my hair is on fire or anything like that. I trust that Spags, because of when these inactives are taking place, he's got enough time to put players in place, put them in the proper position. And look, these players have stepped up. Even Dan Sorensen, look, we got to give credit where credit's due. He's played much better since he hasn't been in that starting lineup. Now, if he has to start, if he has to have extended plays because of Willie Gay's absence, I trust, again, that Spags will be able to put these players in place. And just remember, they're all healthy. I mean, obviously, with the players that are out for COVID reasons, but these other players are healthy and they're excited, and they still play well as a group together right now. So I trust in what they got going on. And, I'm not going to me, I don't think it's going to be that much of a potential big drop-off from what we might have seen with Chris Jones in the game.
Some news around the NFL that broke recently. DeAndre Hopkins is expected to miss the rest of the regular season with a knee injury. They are hoping they can get him back come postseason time. Not good for Arizona. If you watched that Monday night game, you noticed how slow he was looking out there. You expected DeAndre Hopkins to go up and get the ball. You thought, no, Jalen Ramsey. Oh, this is going to be a huge D-Hop gain. Well, now it comes out he was probably playing with his knee injury, and that was what's slowing him down. So no D-Hop for the rest of the season, but he could come back in the playoffs. Baker Mayfield, Kevin Stefanski, the latest Browns to test positive for COVID. If you are a Cleveland Browns fan, oh my goodness, this is not looking good for you. You are on the cusp of making the playoffs, and you're having all these guys test positive. Not looking good.
Strolling right quick, want to go back to D-Hop before I touch on Baker and his coach. Do we know if that injury flared up from his previous injury, or was that a different, total separate injury that he suffered coming out of Monday night's game?
It looks like he suffered the injury in Monday night's game to the Rams.
Okay.
That's what it's according to ESPN. Suffered in Monday with a minute 13 in the game or left in the game. That's what happened. To me, it looked like it may have happened early just based on how he was moving. But according to ESPN, it happened with a minute 13 left in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I could because I'm trying to picture back. I do remember him getting up slow from a play, and I don't know if it was when he went out of bounds, if he went up and caught a ball, because I noticed that there were more passes being thrown to A.J. Green after that. So, obviously, we hope for the best for D-Hop. If he's gone for the remainder of the regular season, depending on the severity, I did read reports that he was looking to get a second opinion of it. So depending on what that second opinion comes back with, I'm not sure if he comes back at all, even if it is in the playoffs, unless they have a deep play or deep run in the playoffs. I don't see DeAndre Hopkins coming back this season if that's the case, and if so, I think that's going to be the end of the Cardinals' postseason dreams. Obviously, they'll get there and they'll play. But if you don't have them for the rest of the season, you might be in a situation where you end up in a wild card, and the Los Angeles Rams end up being the NFC West Division champions, and then you have to travel on the road, which is something. It might work in their favor because they've actually been able to play, I think, 3 games without D-Hop as well as Kyler Murray, and they're undefeated on the road. So it could actually work out in their favor if they have to go on the road versus playing at home in the playoffs. Now, to your point about Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski, if I remember correctly, is this the second time that Stefanski has COVID?
It sure does feel like it. And now,
if I remember correctly, no.
Last year or this year?
No. I think that was this year that he was out earlier this season because I think he was calling games from the house. Yeah, if I'm correct, I think he caught COVID earlier this season. So for him to get it that quickly, gonna have to double check on that. But I'm pretty sure this is the second.
It was last year.
Okay, it was last year.
It was last year. Yeah.
Dog, man, I promise you, if it feels like it was this year. I don't know. Everything's happening so fast, and but be that as it may, Baker Mayfield, if he's out in Saturday's game, I trust the backup quarterback. Because if I remember correctly, now I know Baker Mayfield missed the game earlier this season, so I think the quarterback who came and played in his place won the game. Of course, Case Keenum. He led the team to victory. Obviously, that was the big game with the third string running back in that game as well. So, I think all is still well with the Cleveland Browns as long as you got I think Nick Chubb is healthy. I know Kareem Hunt might be out of this ball game, but if you got Nick Chubb and you've got problem is though you got Jarvis Landry out.
Yeah, because Kareem Hunt's supposed to be out. Just based on reports, Kareem Hunt is doubtful with that ankle injury.
Yeah, my guy Steve Weish over at the NFL Network did tell me that no excuse for the Raiders to not walk out of here with the win because the Browns, I think they've got they probably got 10 players now, if not more, on the COVID list. So they're running out of players to suit up. But granted, that is why they do have an expanded practice squad roster. So they'll have the bodies for Saturday's game. But key pieces are missing. That's gonna, and of course, if Stefanski can't go Saturday, I'm not sure he's not gonna be able to call the game from his house. So this is it's gonna be tough sledding for the Browns. Obviously, with them getting the win against Baltimore last week, that kind of kept them alive in the playoff hunt. This could be a setback that they may not be able to come back from.
And I know we're going to touch on NBA and Steph Curry a little bit later on in the show, but I do want to stick with the NFL here. OBJ among 9 placed on the COVID list by the Rams. All these teams are coming up with these positive COVID tests. The NFLPA, the NFL Players Association, reemphasizes the need for daily COVID tests. So the NFL Players Association right now, they're trying to get more testing in place. They're trying to get out in front of this as soon as possible is what it sounds like. Sounds like the players want to be tested daily.
Well, that's what happened last year, Sterling, and because of the vaccination, the league decided to step back or to pare the daily testing back. Obviously, they'll say it was the financial cost, but when you're making billions upon billions and billions of dollars, what's the cost of sticking something up somebody's nose? So, be that as it may, the Players Association want to continue daily testing this year going into the season. Again, like I mentioned, the league decided otherwise, which is why we're getting it now. But of course, what they're doing now, if you're vaccinated, they only test you once a week. As the Players Association president J.C. Treader, like to emphasize that yes, you might test negative that day, but you got 6 whole days where you can catch the virus, and then when you test again, where you could get the virus on that Tuesday. Let's say you test on Monday, you get the virus and you test negative. You're fine according to NFL standards where you can play the game. But between that Tuesday and Sunday, you can catch COVID. Then when you go back and test on Monday, you got it, but you don't know how long you might have had it. So you could end up missing additional games without even knowing because you've had it, and then that allows you to spread the virus around as well. So the Players Association, understandably, if not saying they're taking a victory lap or anything like that, but the Players Association can do the "I told you so" because this is why if you're testing daily, you can get ahead of this and you can kind of catch it if a player does test positive. You can tell if it's a false positive, or depending on the day that they test it or get test positive, that could be day number one versus, let's say, for example, Chris Jones tested negative last week, but then test this past Monday, then of course he could have had it for a week now. So I'm hearing the phone ringing in the background, but if somebody wants to call in, you could do so at 913-491-8255. Go ahead, Sterling.
Yeah. So other news around the NFL, Lamar Jackson is day-to-day. Ravens add former Buccaneers quarterback Josh Johnson to the roster. Bills quarterback Josh Allen sprained foot. He says it is quite a bit better. Both those quarterbacks are questionable. Both those teams need them to play. I don't think the Bills are wanting to throw out Mitchell Trubisky anytime soon. Both these teams need wins. The Bills might be the best 7-6 team. They are the best 7-6 team in the NFL, just based on what they're. If you look at some of the analytic numbers, I think maybe
you need analytics, Sterling.
Well, no, but they have the third best point differential in the NFL. They're supposed to be a 9-win team based on the numbers. They're a 7-win team. They've had bad and close games. They've had some unlucky things go their way. I still think Josh Allen, the Bills, they're a scary team to get to the playoffs, but for them, they got to get to the playoffs. So for the Bills' sake, they need Josh Allen and that foot to get right.
Yeah, the problem is time, and the other problem is that your injuries don't really get better while you're playing on it. Like Aaron Rodgers' toe is not going to get better between now and the end of the season. So that's the issue that Josh Allen's going to be facing now. Hopefully he's resting. Hopefully they don't have him practicing. I don't think he needs to. I think he's like Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he needs to practice. He knows the plays. He knows what he needs to do. The only thing you have to worry about is his conditioning. But no, I'm not gonna join in with you on the best 7-6 team in the league right now. So I mean, I'd still go with the Bengals, but above them, even though they beat them head to head. So that's probably something crazy on my part. But what I will say is this: it is important that he's healthy coming back. Now, who do they play this Sunday?
1 second.
This is your team still. You're supposed to know their schedule like the back of your hand. See, like this, the Chiefs play the Chargers tomorrow night. See, yeah, I figured that out.
Well, I get that. All I can hear is a plane.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it's by the airport. What can I say?
Panthers. They play the Panthers. So that should be an easy win, even if it is Mitchell Trubisky.
I'm not going there. It's Mitchell Trubisky. So
I would take Trubisky over. This is crazy to say it. I might take Trubisky over any of the quarterbacks right now currently on the Panthers.
Is this game at home or on the road for them?
And P.J. Walker. It's in Buffalo.
Oh, okay, I'll take Buffalo then. Depending on the weather. But look, be that as it may, I like Buffalo's chances to get to the playoffs. Again, I think what's going to be key for Buffalo, Sterling, is that they need to win that game against New England when they play against them the following week, not this week but the next weekend. If they can split with New England, I like their chances of getting to the playoffs. If not, then this is going to be a disappointing year for Josh Allen and the Bills.
The Bills have the second best point differential in the NFL. Only team better, the New England Patriots. They are the best 7-6 team in the NFL. I do think they'll figure it out. They found a bona fide number 2 outside of Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. Their biggest issue is they can't run the football. Josh Allen has been their best running back. Josh Allen has been their running back.
Hold on, Sterling. When did you start caring about the running game? Well, I mean, because you're making it seem like the running game is vital to a team's success now.
Not vital, but it can't be historically bad. I say the running game matters. The running backs themselves, to an extent, do not matter as much as again. Offensive line is the best and biggest predicator on how good a team runs the football, not the running back itself. We've seen it time and time again with the San Francisco 49ers. We've seen it time and time again with the Baltimore Ravens. We've seen it time and time again with the Cleveland Browns. There zero drop-off from Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb to Dearness Johnson. 49ers have been throwing out Elijah Mitchell, like Jermichael Hasty. They can throw at anyone, and they're finding ways to get yards. The Baltimore Ravens have done the same thing. It doesn't matter necessarily who the running back is. It matters how that offensive line and how the head coach schemes it up.
Well, it is also the system too, Sterling. I mean, you have the West Coast offense, which utilizes the running backs, as well as the system that they're using in Baltimore, because it's a run-heavy offense. So yes, running backs do matter in those. Now, I don't follow Buffalo enough to know what type of offense they run. I don't know if they run West Coast or what, but obviously they're not utilizing, and that's a failure
because they can't run the football. They can't. Devin Singletary, Matt Breida, and Zach Moss have done nothing.
So
why would you keep handing the ball to them if they can't perform?
So whose fault is that? Is that the organization's fault?
Line?
No. Is that not the organization's fault? I mean, because last I checked, they were able to draft players and they were able to sign players in free agency.
Sure, they drafted these guys.
Okay, I'm just pointing it out because I know that's your team next to the Chiefs. I just want to point that out, and again, I want to point out the fact that you are preaching about a team running the football when you yourself don't like the running backs and don't like the running game.
Sure.
So you're trying to have your cake and eat it too, is basically what you're saying. So you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. Sterling.
No,
you can say yes, Sterling.
The running game matters to an extent. The running back doesn't.
Okay.
It's about the offensive line. The offensive line is
so the Chiefs. Hold on. So does the Chiefs running game matter? Does the Chiefs running game matter?
To an extent, yes.
Okay.
I've always said that.
Oh yeah.
And it's the reason why they're doing better this year than last year. It's the offensive line, the three dudes in the middle: Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, even Orlando Brown Jr. solid in the run game. Like, that's why they're having more success on the ground this year. It's not just Clyde all of a sudden getting 4 or 5 yards of carry. It's not that Darrell Williams became this great running back. It's because the offensive line of Kansas City has done a fantastic job of building huge holes for these guys.
So we have breaking news that Sterling Holmes is now a fan of the running game once again.
No, I wouldn't say a fan of the run game, but there is some nuance. There's some nuance. I've never said throw the ball 70 times and don't run it one time. I've never said that.
Okay, so the running game is vital to a team's success, but you just don't want to pay running backs.
Correct. Because the running back isn't the best indicator. It's the offensive line and the scheme.
Okay.
Why would I pay a running back when you see what happens? Tony Pollard's better than Zeke. Saquon, that looks like a great contract. Christian McCaffrey looking like a really good contract right now, huh? Those looking pretty good?
You didn't have no problem when they paid Christian McCaffrey.
Todd Gurley really did a great job. Todd Gurley was a great contract.
You know what? I could also blame the coaching and not putting players in proper places and calling the right place. Because last I checked, I think Kareem Hunt has been successful thus far. I mean, minus the
Is he getting paid $20 million a year?
Well, I mean, had he been in Kansas, had he stayed in Kansas City, he might have.
And I would never pay a running back that much. That's the whole point. There's always nuance when it comes down to it. Certain guys are worth more than others. Guys like Alvin Kamara, who are great pass catchers, are worth more. But even guys like Christian McCaffrey at this point, who can't stay healthy, he may be the most talented dude in the world. But if you can't stay healthy, what good is that? There's always going to be some nuances to that. Austin Eckler's not getting paid an obscene amount of money. It all comes down to what can you get, because you see guys like James Robinson, who were undrafted, put up fantastic numbers. You can get a lot of running back is the position where there's the most talent across the board. It's the easiest position, in my opinion, to replace. I would prefer the Chiefs to spend money elsewhere and high draft picks for that matter.
All right, we'll agree to disagree on that, so we'll just move on. And I'm sorry, it's not like I know
there are some cop cars. I think they're coming after you right now.
No,
Darren.
that's a fire
They're
truck.
coming after you.
That's a fire truck.
Well, since they're trying to put out your hot take over there, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. I do want to talk some NBA. I do want to talk Steph Curry breaking the all-time three-point record and Ray Allen being there last night in the Garden. Darren and Sterling here, ESPN, Kansas City.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, tell me what to do.
Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober.
Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
A KC tradition since 1957 and voted the best steak in Kansas City, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. Go to HerefordHouse.com for hours, new menu items, and to make your reservations. Follow Hereford House on Facebook and Instagram for exclusive specials. Hereford House, voted Kansas City's favorite steakhouse.
Do you love the Chiefs more than anyone? Do you dream of watching from the stands? Can it get any better than that? Come on, you need to dream bigger. With the Kansas Lottery Play-On app, you could win one of 5 Chiefs 2022 season ticket packages. We're talking every home game, parking, food, drinks, and $500 cash. You want that? Then scan your non-winning Kansas City Chiefs instant tickets in the Kansas Lottery Play-On app.
Work hard and play hard with Easy Sport, Boulevard's refreshing rally ale. Infused with tangerine peel and sea salt, Easy Sport hits the shelves at only 99 calories and 4.5 carbs. This subtly salty, slightly tart beer packs a punch of flavor. Whether you just finished a run, a pickup game, or mowing the lawn, Easy Sport is a refreshing, guilt-free way to celebrate the everyday. Grab an Easy Sport. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
A KC tradition since 1957 and voted the best steak in Kansas City, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. Go to HerefordHouse.com for hours, new menu items, and to make your reservations. Follow Hereford House on Facebook and Instagram for exclusive specials. Hereford House, voted Kansas City's favorite steakhouse.
Hi, Ollie Gates here. The Gates family would like to say thank you for allowing us to serve you for 75 years, a milestone which would not have been possible without your support. Thanks again, and remember, whatever the case may be, keep the faith.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling here, ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com. Sterling Holmes live in the studio. Darren Smith live in California, right outside SoFi Stadium. Got to give you a little California love. I do want to give a shout-out to Kendall on Facebook Live, saying wasn't Zeke a number 4 overall pick? Couldn't do a thing once that offensive line no longer had all those first-round picks on it. I'm with you, Kendall. It's all on that offensive line. Look at Tony Pollard looking better than Zeke. But Darren, I'm jealous of you right now out there in California. It does look pretty nice.
You should. And before we go further, I don't normally do this, but because she's blowing my phone up, let me give a shout-out to my mom and my stepdad. They're watching back in Kansas City. They're like, we're watching. We don't know if you're live or not. I am live. As I explained to them, I was in a commercial break. She was waving at me, so I'm waving at her. So I want to thank everybody who's watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Roku, all that good stuff. So thank you so much for tuning in.
Always got to shout out the parents. You always have to. It's always a good look.
Yeah, I mean, well, if she commented every now and then, it'd be nice, but just, text me in the middle of the show, so, Talking about don't turn her back on
Better
her.
my dad going, hey, tell Bob Kendrick to get ready for the smooth golf swing in the tournament next week, whatever that was. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Dad. That's great. But I do want to talk about Steph Curry.
Yeah.
He broke the all-time three-point record last night, passing Ray Allen. Ray Allen was there in attendance. They stopped it after he hit it. It was a prototypical Steph Curry three, backpedaling, deep, moonshot. Incredible. What was your take on Steph Curry breaking that record last night?
Well, I was glad he got out the way early. I think that's something that we expected to have happen. I was really invested in that game last night. We're not going to talk about it on the air because my mom didn't be watching. But of course, I was definitely excited about him breaking one because the NBA seems to care a lot about records more so than the NFL. Of course, those are the two sports that we talk about the most. Baseball, there are records that are kind of revered. Obviously, the home run, the 61. There used to be, but 61 is if I remember correctly, it's the hitting streak from Lou Gehrig. So the fact that they built it up and it took place and he broke the record at Madison Square Garden. You actually had Spike Lee getting all types of angles of pictures prior to the game, but you had Reggie Miller who was there calling the game, and then of course Ray Allen whose record he was breaking, being there in attendance. Both of his parents are sitting in different locations. That's a story within itself. But I do also love how they stopped the game. They took time to acknowledge it. The fans at Madison Square Garden loved it. I mean, they were cheering. I mean, every time he had the ball, everybody stood up on their feet because they're thinking this is the time he's going to take the shot. And I think he missed the shot twice before he made his first three. I think he missed it twice and then hit on his fourth attempt. Well, his third attempt after he made his first shot. And so I love seeing it. I do love the fact that Under Armour kind of, did a thing about it from his childhood all the way up to, to his current shot that he made. And I just thought that, it was a good look for the NBA and for players altogether.
I'll give you a second there, Darren. Just to me, it shows a guy that has legitimately changed the NBA. This was a man who completely changed the landscape of the NBA. And the fact is, how old is he? 33? 32?
I think he's 33. It's funny. He really doesn't seem that old, but but he's been in the league, 7-9 years.
Well, longer than that. He also played at Davidson for 3 or 4 years. So it's not like he came out as a freshman. So he's a little bit older, more age than some of the other guys. But to me, what's so impressive is he beat Ray Allen's record in like 500 less games. Well, incredible amount of 500 less shots.
Yeah, but strong.
It's just so impressive, his consistency.
Yeah, but strong. Here's the most impressive part, even on what you're saying. Remember, he missed a full. I think I think he missed a full season with a hand injury, or most of it, and then he's had injuries. Prior to the season that he was out with his hand injury, so he probably missed essentially a year and a half, maybe two years. Well, I'm sorry, that might be Clay, but the fact that he's missed at least a year's worth of games, that he could have broken this record a long time ago, in fewer games possibly.
Just to me, what's also so impressive is a career 43.1% three-point shooter. Think of the amount of difficult shots that Steph Curry takes. Think of all those difficult faders, those NBA range level threes, and he shoots 43.1%. Remember back in the day, if you shot 33%, you're considered a sharpshooter. If you shot 33%, you're considered, that guy's a lights-out, knockdown three-point shooter. Steph Curry's 10% better than what it used to be. The game's just changed so much. It's evolved. What Ray Allen did, to me, was also incredibly impressive. I don't want to take away from Ray Allen, because Ray Allen, when he came into the NBA, he was not a three-point shooter. If you remember him with the Seattle Supersonics, with the Milwaukee Bucks, that dude was yamming on guys. That guy used to get up. So for Ray Allen to evolve his game the way he did, I also want to make sure we don't forget Ray Allen and what he was, because he wasn't just a three-point shooter when he came into the NBA. That was something he learned. He evolved. I got to make sure Ray Allen gets his due as well.
Well, let's keep in mind he was also Jesus Shuttlesworth. So let's, from He Got Game. So he's always had an outside shot. One of the things that I do enjoy about watching Steph play is, again, any shot he takes is not if for him and that team and the coaching staff. He and Clay have the green light, so any shot they take is not considered a bad shot whatsoever. And one of the stats that was interesting that they showed last night, Sean, and I don't know if you caught this, when the 3-point line was introduced in 1979, 1980, individual teams were averaging 3-point shots a game, making less than one. And then, of course, as time and generations progress, it's got more. But I think, even during Michael Jordan's era, it was like, I think maybe between 8 to 13. And I mean, and now you see individual teams taking about 34 to 35 3-point shots a game. So imagine where it was when it was first introduced, 79, 80, to where it is now, to where it's going to be in the future. And that's saying something, because obviously the evolution of the NBA player, the evolution of man, just genetics in general. What Steph Curry is doing now, just imagine what the players who are currently playing, that's going to be playing well after him, the LaMelo Ball, I mean, just the shots he's jacking up, Trae Young. Granted, it seems like some of them been in the league for a minute, but it's only been like 3 years for like Trae Young right now. So just imagine when he gets to year number 10 or year number 14, like Steph Curry, how many shots he'll have. And then again, if you look at Steph, what he's doing now, if he stays healthy, if he continues to play at a high level over the next 3 to 4 seasons, how far out of reach he might put that particular record.
Yeah, just to me, Steph Curry, if he can stay healthy, he seems like a guy who can play for a long, long time as strictly a spot-up 3-point shooter. If you can shoot in the NBA, you'll find a role for you. Look at Ray Allen. I mean, Ray Allen, towards the end of his career, I know he was in phenomenal shape, and I know he was a little bit taller than Steph, but he wasn't some defensive guy anymore. He wasn't driving by guys, and when he was in Miami, he was still good enough to basically win that championship. That shot saved the NBA championship, that corner three. So if Steph Curry stays healthy, I think he has every opportunity to play until he's 40, 41. That, to me, is not out of the realm of possibility.
The other difference between Steph and even to an extent the difference between Steph Curry and Ray Allen, and to an extent Reggie Miller. Well, Reggie Miller was the number one focal point. Ray Allen, after he left Milwaukee to go to Boston and then Miami, he wasn't the number one option. So, but Reggie was getting a lot of his shots off of screens, and he didn't take as many volume-wise like Steph Curry did. So when you see what Steph Curry's doing, he has the green light. He's the number one option. Again, he can take 16 threes and not worry about getting benched or whatever, where other players, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, they never thought about taking that type of volume amount of shots. Reggie Miller might have had the green light to do it, but I don't think he would have done so, or if he had, would have been as efficient as Steph Curry has been over the years.
There has never been a greener light in the history of the NBA than what Steph Curry has. You're right to an extent as well.
Well, Clay has
play
it too.
For a guy like Steve Kerr, Steve Kerr in his own right was a 3-point shooter, right? So when you play for a head coach who knows and understands the value of the three, who understands and allows you to be you, doesn't try to bring you back, doesn't try to pinpoint and say, hey, man, you can only shoot 8. You can only shoot 5. The guy bring the flow of the game. The fact that Steph Curry came together, to me, that's also one of those things that just has to happen. Just how you look around Phil Jackson with Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson with Kobe and Shaq. There's always systems that put players in the best possible situation to succeed. For example, if Steph had a different head coach, would we be talking about something different? Would he be strictly a J.J. Redick at this point? I think those are fair questions to ask. So it's just so impressive when records get broken. I mean, just let that sink in, how many 3-pointers that really is. And I still want to say how many 3-pointers I think are still left in the tank for Steph Curry and that right arm.
Well, one of the things that you're missing out on, Sterling, again, talking about the volume, he is projected to make over 400 3-point shots this season. I think he's done it 3 other times already. Just imagine again. You're looking at where he's at. He's almost, let's just say 3,000. He'll get to 3,000 probably by sometime this weekend or early part of next week. You divide 3,000 by 400. That's seven and a half years. So I mean, now obviously, he's built up to it. But I think if he's done it 4 times where he's done it and he's played a number of years, if he keeps shooting at that clip over the next 4 years, that's 4,500 3-point shots, Sterling, that he's made. Not attempted, but made at a minimum. It would take somebody damn near a lifetime. I mean, first of all, they'd have to be able to be efficient. They'd also have to be accurate to make 400 threes. But you're looking at that. You'd have to do that for at least 12 seasons to make 400 just to catch up with them.
And just to me, what I think is going to be interesting to watch, this might be one of those records that we feel are unbreakable, like Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, or
his 50-point average and rebounding,
73 the home run record, or just how in baseball, Joe DiMaggio's hit streak. Like, there's gonna be records that we feel are unbreakable. I think at the end of Steph's career, we might think that this falls into one of those historical unbreakable records. Just based on, I don't care that players are shooting more threes now. I don't care if percentages go up. What he has done and how the longevity he has, because even Trae Young, like, I just don't think the efficiency or the longevity or all that's going to be there. Steph Curry, I think, is a one-of-a-kind type of player, and I do think his record, when it's all said and done, might feel unbreakable.
It'll be unbreakable because he's got 2 years up on Klay Thompson, obviously with Klay being injured. The other thing that I don't know if you saw what Under Armour, the video they put out right after they went to commercial when he broke the record, but what it showed me was that even as a kid, he was always practicing the outside shot. So for him, it comes naturally. It's like muscle memorization. I mean, it seems like it doesn't matter where he's at. He has that stroke, and he has the long distance stroke because he's always worked on it. Where if you saw where dad's like, "Come on, you got to make a shot." Here he is as probably 2 years old. On his little goal or whatever, but he's still draining buckets. And as you saw when he was in AAU and being Little League and YMCA, I mean, he's just throwing. I mean, he's not throwing up shots. He's actually shooting that's a regular shot for him. Again, a regular shot for him is like a free throw for others. And so, again, because he's done it for so many years and been so successful, it's muscle memory. Even if his legs start to go from him, he'll still have enough of an arc, enough of muscle memory that he'll still be able to get that shot off.
I do want to take a quick break because when we come back, I want to talk some more NFL. Remember D Ford?
Yeah, I remember.
Remember D Ford? Yeah, well, he is now out for the season due to a back problem. A lot more I want to get into talking NFL. I appreciate talking some NBA and Steph Curry with you, Darren. It's always an enjoyable time. But we will take a quick break. We'll come back, finish the show talking NFL. Darren and Sterling here, ESPN, Kansas City.
Space Camper Cosmic IPA is a juicy, hot blast of flavor. Citrusy and balanced, this is an IPA with a mission: to save the Earth, because it's the only planet with beer. You might not know it, but Boulevard Brewing Company has been passionate about taking care of our planet for decades. Between their zero-waste brewery to Ripple Glass, Boulevard has been making great beer you can feel great about. Stock up on Space Camper Cosmic IPA today. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay
House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef. All their steaks are aged 21 days. Instagram for exclusive specials. Hereford House, voted Kansas City's favorite steakhouse.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom. In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling here, ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, Facebook Live. You got to let the song play out, Darren. It's L.A. Woman by The Doors. Very popular L.A. song. I got to play some L.A. songs while you're out there.
Could have played.
It's 7.5 minutes long, so maybe we'll just play that.
I mean, but you also could have played I'm going back to Cali. Okay,
Hey,
I'll go with
I'm
it.
just going to go ahead and say, Darren, Lebo would have known it. Lebo would have known.
I'm not Lebo. Lebo also wouldn't dress like this either on a show on a Wednesday afternoon, looking this fly in front of
Lebo
SoFi.
would not be in here. I'm rocking a polo. You're full suit. Lebo would be out there rocking a sweatshirt and jeans. So
That's what I do, man. Got an image.
You might be outdressed. You might have outdressed him.
Of course. Wait till tomorrow night, though. Well, you'll see tomorrow afternoon, unfortunately. So I'm going to display it early and then, of course, to the world a little bit later on.
Darren, you might need to pull your mic in there. It's getting a lot of background noise. It's a lot of background noise. But I do want to say 49ers, D Ford is going to be out for the season. Not good. Basically, ever since he's gone to San Francisco, it's been back injury after back injury. Starting to seem increasingly likely that this is D Ford's final season as a 49er. This is not good.
No,
it's won this trade would be an understatement. Getting a second-round draft pick for D Ford.
Yeah, they won
one of the most explosive players off of the line, but could never stay healthy. You got to feel for a guy who has that much talent, but can just not stay on the field.
I feel for him, but I don't feel too bad for him because he got paid a lot of money between the Chiefs and the 49ers. So, but yeah, you never want to see a player go out injured the way that he is. I know he said he was also trying to get a second opinion as well, because I think it was reported that he sent his teammates a group text. And they thought that when he told them goodbye, they thought it was for the last time or whatever. So he's still on the team. They can't cut him just yesterday because he has to be healthy. If they cut him, they'll have to pay out, I think, most of his contract and stuff. So they have to wait till he's probably deemed ready to go and then possibly make the cut, because otherwise you'll owe him a whole lot of money. So it's better to keep him than to let him go at the moment.
So, as far as D Ford's contract, he signed a 5-year, $85 million contract in that 2019 trade that the Chiefs returned a second rounder. Since then, D Ford's played in only 18 games over those 3 seasons, including 3 snaps in 6 games this year before landing on the IR. Again, you got to feel for D Ford, but at the same time, give Brett Veach, Kansas City, the Chiefs front office, a lot of credit for maybe knowing what you had and getting out from underneath that, because that's looking increasingly better as the seasons and year progresses.
I don't want to know. I'm not going to give. I'm not going to give Brett credit because I think it's more so D4 did it to himself. Had he not jumped off sides and everything played out, the Chiefs would have went to the Super Bowl. Perhaps they win it, perhaps they don't. But he'd probably still be here. And if that's the case, Bob Gunther or whatever the defensive coordinator's name was when he was in Kansas City before he left after 2018. So I think it just happened the way it happened with him jumping off sides and Chiefs fans knowing that he blew a chance. Well, he participated in a chance for the Chiefs to not get to the Super Bowl, that he wasn't going to be able to come back regardless. So I don't want to give Brett Veach credit for something that D4 did on his own.
Going around the NFL, Jags can't seem to stay out of their own way. Trevor Lawrence
They
coming
done did
out
now.
saying drama has to stop for the Jacksonville Jaguars to win. Well, if that was the case, hiring Urban Meyer might not have been the greatest decision. Trevor Lawrence went out and said there's a lot more drama in the NFL than in college, no matter where you're at. But it's something we got to work on. You can't always be in the headlines. You just got to go play football. That's where we're trying to get at. I have no doubt we'll get there, but that for sure has to change.
That's funny.
How
That's
bad
rich.
do you feel for Trevor Lawrence? He's struggled this year, but he has not been put in the best position possible to succeed when you have your head coach seemingly in the headlines every single week. Are you starting to feel for Trevor Lawrence?
Not at all. Look, Trevor Lawrence was always projected to be the number one pick. He knew where he was going to be drafted when he came out. I guess he was a senior, so he knew where he was going to be drafted. Was he a junior or senior when he came out, Sterling?
Let me check on that. I would have assumed a junior, but it might have been. I think he came back for his senior year to try and win that ship.
Yeah,
Sure he came
he had
back
already
his senior
won.
year. Let
He
me
had already
confirm.
won the championship. I think he was trying to win the Heisman. But be that as it may, I mean, I don't. He never struck me as someone. I know everybody talked about him being prototypical, and now he rated higher than all the quarterbacks since John Elway or Andrew Luck or something like that. I've never been impressed with his game. I didn't. I thought that Dabo kind of gave him more credit than the players that were surrounding him. I thought that I thought Urban Meyer would be a better coach at the NFL level, and I think he's failed him. But look, man, sometimes you have to be willing to go out and do things on your own in spite of the situation that you find yourself in. When I was rewatching The Last Dance, when Michael Jordan broke his foot and wanted to come back and he was ready to play, they didn't want to play him. So he asked, could he go back to school, quote unquote, to finish his education. When he went back there to work out and to practice and, become 100% and work out with the players, go on 5-on-5, then when he came back, they realized that he pulled a wool over us. He had been healthy for some time, when they thought he was out there rehabbing. So I'm just not. I mean, I've never been a big fan of Trevor Lawrence. I'm not going to be one that says I feel sorry for him for his situation. I just think that, look, if he felt that Jacksonville wasn't going to be a good place for him, he possibly should have did a Peyton Manning where if you draft me, I'm not going to go there and force a trade somewhere else.
Before we get out today, I do want to say Mizzou looking like they're getting a top 15 recruiting class in all of NCAA. A lot of places you look at, they're at number 13, Luther Bowden. The number 1 wide receiver recruit, and number 3 overall recruit in all of college football is going to incredible job turning around, getting this team going. I got to give Drinkwitz all the credit in the world. Mizzou is looking like they got their guy. Darren, I also want to talk to you. Deion flips the number 2 recruit. Big is this for Deion?
Well, one is big not only for Deion, but it's big for black colleges altogether. I mean, this is the first time in the history of, I guess, 5-star recruiting that a 5-star athlete is signing with an FCS school versus an FBS. And so this is big time. I mean, and this is something that Deion Sanders has always talked about, that you got to remember, man, if you look at the history, especially the Chiefs, a lot of their Hall of Famers from back in the day, Willie Lanier and Buck Buchanan, all those players, Otis they all came from historically black colleges and universities. So it's not surprising for me because, if Deion Sanders wants to coach you and that's the position you play, it doesn't get no better than him in coaching you. If he coaches you and blesses you, then the NFL is somebody's going to steal him up when it's time for him to get drafted in 3 years.
Well, Darren, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad you're out there in L.A. For Darren Smith, I am Sterling Holmes. We'll be coming at you live tomorrow. Darren will still be L.A. giving you coverage all day out there. For Darren Smith, I'm Sterling Holmes. We are out.